A more formal instrument of the identification of creativity is the Torrance test of creative thinking. This test is scripted, timed, and has specific criteria available for writing each element. The following slides will give you some examples of what this might look like. Here are the directions. It says, do not begin before you're told to do so. Try to think of things that no one else will think of. Try to think of as many ideas as possible. Add details to your ideas to make them complete. If you finish before time is up, you may continue to add details or sit quietly. Please do not go to the next activity until you're told to do so. Activity 1. Try to improve this stuffed toy rabbit so that it will be more fun to play with. You have 3 minutes. Activity 2. Just suppose that people could transport themselves from place to place with just a wink of the eye or a twitch of the nose. What might be some things that would happen as a result? You have 3 minutes. Activity 3. Add lines to the incomplete figures below to make pictures out of them. Try to tell complete stories with your pictures. Give your pictures titles. You have 3 minutes. And finally, Activity 4. Add details to the shapes below to make pictures out of them. Make the diamond a part of any picture you make. Try to think of pictures no one else will think of. Add details to complete stories with your pictures. Give your pictures titles. You have 3 minutes. As we referred to earlier, creating a portfolio for the students is very helpful in the identification process. And a portfolio is just basically a collection and evidence of work that the student has done or projects the student has completed to really show you what this child is capable of doing. There are different kinds of portfolios. You have authentic evidence of real learning, collection portfolios, showcase working portfolios, and assessment portfolios. This information that is included in these portfolios can come from the teacher, but we also heavily rely on parents in this area because parents see a child that we don't typically see at school. The children at home have so many more opportunities to express their creativity, so many more activities to engage in what truly interests and excites them. And that is the area that we will see giftedness in the areas that they are interested in. One time I had a student in my class, and you don't know them from day to day, and I found out he was an accomplished musician. I had no idea that he could play the piano as well as he could until one day I was talking to him and he wasn't doing any of his work, so I asked him what did he like to do, and he said, well, I like to play the piano. I said, well, let's go down there, play the piano for me. I took him to the music room and I was amazed at how well he could play the piano. That musical giftedness was really coming out. I saw it, but had I not just been having a conversation with him, I never would have seen it. Of course, the parents would see this. They would know this. And so, when we ask for the parents to give us samples of the kids' work, it might be a recording of the child's piano playing, or it might be a description of a musical competition that the child was in or something like that. This is a side of the child that we also need to see, that only the parents see. One time a parent brought in a huge stack of comic books that the child had been working on for years. He actually even brought the comic books up to school and would sell them to his friends. They were that good. This is something that would have been discouraged in the classroom because we're not allowed to make comic books when we're supposed to be doing other things. So if the parent hadn't brought that sample in, I would never have seen that side of this child. When you're asking for samples for home, I highly encourage parents to bring things that wouldn't typically be seen at school. I really don't want to see old tests, old worksheets, or anything that typically we have at school. I want to see things that we wouldn't see. Um, Children may have been enrolled in art contests, maybe the reflections, poetry writing, something, those kind of things. If they have excelled in that area, that's what we're looking for from parents. That's what we need in our portfolios. Teachers can include work samples, teachers can include worksheets, teachers can include grades, but the parents see a different child, and so what we want to see from parents is what they see in this child at home to really help us understand these gifted kids. Another thing that we encourage parents to do is write a narrative about the child. Often in the narrative, we can see early indications of giftedness. We can see, if they were reading at a very early age, if they talked at an early age. These are all important components for us to use as we try to identify the gifted child. These are all our qualitative evidence of giftedness. It's very important when you're creating these portfolios that you remember that we're looking for a child that is performing or shows potential to perform at remarkably high levels of accomplishment when compared to others in the same age, same experience, or same environment. Anything that a teacher can collect that shows this are good items to include in a portfolio.